Yeah. So the conversation kind of took a turn. She had a worldview, and I was contradicting her worldview and trying to show that mine is better. And I realized that, okay, I'm just making trouble just because I want to feel right, and that's so stupid. It could just, I know I'm right.
Ah.
I'll just agree, and I realized that a couple of minutes in, and oh my God, what did I start? And I'm gonna try to be more attentive towards that next time.
Okay.
That was certainly
Well,
not skillful.
actually, the facts are such that they would be agreeable to you.
Okay.
All right. That you already agree with the facts. So let's look at the facts in this way. In fact, there on YouTube there is one video that actually supports this, and the name of it is 10 Reasons Why Highly Intelligent People Have Only a Small Group of Friends. And that it had a whole lot of Dhamma in it.
All right.
That it's not so much of the intelligence, uh, but that smart people, let us say, have a better chance of figuring out what's the right way to live.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's one thing that's quite important, and that would be the example of in the West they have a system called Alcoholics Anonymous (AA),
Mm-hmm.
and that one of the things that happens with AA, and they've watched this for 100 years without actually making a rule about it, but when
Okay.
someone joins AA and starts to practice AA, they no longer keep the friends that they used to
Mm-hmm.
have. All right, that in fact, instead of browsing with their old drinking buddies, they'll find new people.
Mm-hmm.
The second one would be that when a man gets married, slowly over time, like a few months, he changes his friend group because the guys that he used to be friends with, he was just like them. He was a bachelor.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you're married, you don't associate so much with the bachelors. It just kind of drops off while you start making friends that are more like you are now. Well, guess what? That actually happens with the Dhamma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Happens big time. That when you begin to see how much suffering there is out there, you begin to not want to associate with those who are doing a lot of suffering and looking in crazy and strange places to
Mm-hmm.
solve their suffering. There's a song about that. The name of the song is Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places, Looking for Love. Because we're looking on the outside for the love rather than the cliche would see to look within.
Mm-hmm.
And there, what we actually come across is that no love there and no love necessary. That I'm good to go. Thank you very much. That I was wrong to be out looking for love, and since I couldn't find any on the inside, I was outside looking for it. Where in fact the mistake is wanting to be loved,
Mm-hmm. All right.
wanting something that we don't have. But when we become satisfied with all the love that we've got, it may be very little, but it's enough already. Whoa, now. Had it up to here with the love.
uh,
And in that regard, we stop spending much time with the people on the outside and we begin to have Dhamma friends, those who are more noble in their behavior, more wise in their orientation, and that in, let us say, um, ordinary ways of speaking, you can call that intelligence.
mhm.
That when we stop acting like a dumb animal and start acting like a human being, then we want to stop living around dumb animals and start living with top notch quality human beings. So in that regard, I agree with you. Is spending time with your girlfriend or your wife is probably a really good way to celebrate if
Mhm.
your only choice is to go out with the crowd that your mom wants you to go
Mhm.
out with.
Yeah.
However, I would think that if your mom would reconsider just in a very short time that it's not uh, what you need, that you can figure that out. It's what she thinks you
Mhm.
need, and that she's only reflecting what she needs.
Mhm.
All right. So what friends can you drive her over to Aunt Sally's house?
Mhm.
Okay, to find a way of being generous
Mhm.
to mom
All right.
to make her feel good.
Mhm.
Always look for that payoff. How can you be generous to her rather than fighting her and saying no to her? In,
Yeah.
in fact, just this morning, Daryl was saying that his wife was complaining by saying that he is hard to buy for, that he
Oh.
doesn't want much and she doesn't
Mhm.
know what to do to buy him. The answer is that, oh, she was just paying you an enormous compliment.
Mhm.
And in a way, your mom was too, paying you a compliment. She was seeing it as, oh, you need to get out more, which actually is what she's saying is, oh, I see you're quite satisfied by
Mhm.
not going
Yeah.
out. And that
Yeah.
terrifies me. So the way that I told Daryl to operate with that was to turn that around to an option of generosity by telling his wife, oh, I'm really glad that you can see that in me, that I've been working on that spiritually for a long time, and I'm really glad that you can see that. And that we don't need for you to buy physical things for me to make me feel good,
Mhm.
that let's just be good friends.
All right.
And thank you for wanting to buy for me, but you don't have to buy anything at all. That I love you and I congratulate you for seeing that I've been working on that
Mhm.
I don't need anything. And so we turn it around and give her the gift.
Mhm. Okay.
So that's what you need to do with mom is because this ain't over.
Mhm.
And she's coming back for another round. In fact,
Yeah.
this is not the first round of this.
Mhm.
But now you have a new tool, a skill of generosity to be generous to her, to give her something warm and fuzzy,
Mhm. Okay.
to help solve her fears. And the easy way to do that, if she keeps turning it back to you, is just ask her what she wants.
Mhm.
And then figure out how you can solve that without doing it exactly her way.
Mhm. All right.
But the idea is to bring her around to where she feels as good as you do.
Okay.
And you
That's gonna
feel
be
as
tough.
good as you can remember to do.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. That's okay. So I really like that you said this because my perspective was okay. I'm stupid because I'm disagreeing with not. I should just stop doing it. More like from a neutral perspective, just stop throwing wood on the fire. But you're actually saying just go and pour a bucket of water on the fire. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I really like this flip. I'm gonna try to implement this.
Good. I wouldn't use the bucket of water analogy, but
Okay. Yeah, it's yeah. So another analogy would be like if somebody is attacking you, you could just like not fight back, but now you're doing aikido on them, or
yes, so it's not over yet. She'll say that again,
mm-hmm.
and you'll have a good response. You can also eventually get into it with her is that it is wise to choose friends carefully, that we don't need friends just because we need, that we can, in fact, choose friends based upon the fact that we don't need them, but that we
Right.
like them, and that's all.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, just kindred souls, a few good friends. In fact, going in the other direction, you can see that when people feel insecure, then the idea is to gain security in the crowd. This is what is called herd behavior. You can see it in the wild, but in fact, most of the control that humans have over domesticated animals is because the humans have learned to manipulate the herd behavior of the animals. And so they will collect together into a herd. Well, guess what? That very animal flock, 200,000, 300, maybe 1 million or so years ago, that was me out there. looking for that crowd, looking for the safety and security in numbers. Because the attack animals, the wolves, the coyotes, the lions, big cats, they always call the herd by going after the one on the outside, the one who is the weakest. Which brings up about the question of the bear. There was 2 guys camping in the woods, and they looked up behind them, and there was a big grizzly bear growling and about to attack. And as they were hastily putting their stuff together, their shoes on and whatnot, one said, how can I outrun this bear? And the guy says, I don't have to outrun the bear, I just have to outrun you. Yes, so that's the way then that the herd is scattered, so that the weakest are left behind, and then those are the ones that are attacked. That brings great fear in us to be left behind, to be left out. It terrifies us because it's completely dangerous, or it was in the old days, to be left out of the herd, left out of the crowd. So it's instinctual and it's deeply buried. And those kinds of feelings your mother is suffering in your behalf. So she's feeling cold and she brings you a coat to put on.
Right.
And so address those feelings that she has directly. And the easy way to do it is, oh, Mom, I would really like to take you out. Where would you like to go? Come, let's you and I be friends. I'll put you on my friend list. There's many different ways of saying that.
Okay.
But the whole point is to help her to feel good. That would be a gift, a real gift of generosity. But as you said, instead, you chose the child position. Oh, Mom, I don't want to. I don't want to follow your rules. Yeah. So what happened then?
Yeah, she got a bit irritated, and she was a bit. This was pretty late. I don't want to argue with you, but I know you're right, and you'll see that I'm right, and you'll tell me I'm right after. Yeah, I figured that she basically wanted to feel like an authority and like a guiding figure in my life, although she actually isn't anymore. But she still wants to feel that, and if I try to show that, okay, Mom, I'm wiser than you, she's definitely not gonna like that. She's never gonna accept that. So I just yeah.
Nope, she's not.
Yeah.
You're right about that. That in fact she has been an authority over you all of these years. How dare you grow up? How dare you slip from the surly bonds of her power? So that's why, in fact, rather than pointing out that position, or trying to change it in any way. Just be friends with her, even in that position. And that friendship then will be basically the winch that brings the two of you together onto the same level.
Okay.
Especially if you do things for her, because in that regard, like taking her to the places she wants to go, is beginning to reverse the role. And that role must be reversed. It's part of our nature, it's part of the society, that the old take care of the young until they can't. And then the young become old, taking care of the elderly, who becomes a child again. Dependent again. All right. And so your mom is probably about that level where she's at the peak or the epitome of being the boss. And now she sees that it's only going to be a downhill journey from here back to childhood. The answer is for you to recognize that she's going to go through that with trepidation, but that you can teach her to enjoy the trip. Because the trip is inevitable. She will get old, she will get sick, she will get independent, and her only option to doing that is to die early.
All right.
That's inevitable. That's what the Buddha was talking about. That's so important to realize that we all get that way. We all get old. We all get sick. And we all are going to die. The only way out of getting old is by dying early. The only way to get out of ever being sick is to die before you get sick. But other than that, mostly it's old age, sickness, and death. And your mom is already staring that. She knows this. If she's got an adult son, she's old enough to recognize that, hey, wait a minute, this is the best, this is the top of the hill. It's only going to be downhill from now. In fact, she's probably already gone over the hill and hadn't recognized it yet. And so in that way, help her by doing these two things. One is turning it around and asking her what it is that she wants. And then going ahead and following through with that, so as you begin to reverse the role, so that you become the adult.
All right.
And you will be the one who is wiser at doing this. But you have to remember that whenever you're with mom. So make a point of it that, hey, whenever mom's around, I've got a job to do.
Okay.
The job is to, one, make her happy. Two, is to reverse the role. So it can be easy for her. Because basically part of the reason that the role reversal is so hard is because she quite naturally doesn't trust you to be up to the task.
Yeah, okay.
Why? Because you've been the object of authority. You're the one who is down on the bottom. Now, if she's heading downhill, you got to prove yourself in her mind that you're worthy to come up to the task of being able to take care of her on her downhill journey. This is so much into psychology, but it's very, very much Buddha also. So the Buddha is very much into learning to take care of the parents.
All right.
The Buddha even talked about it in the sense is even though you rode your mom and dad together on each shoulder around and carried around your whole life, still you could not completely repay them for them giving you life.
Okay.
Your whole life depends upon that. Okay, so your mom is rubbing that in. I'm the authority here. You go do what I tell you to do. And so you can see that gives you now an obligation, but you now also have the tools to meet that obligation rather than to avoid her authority.
Okay.
You relish in it. You give her congratulations. Mom, you've been such a great mom. Where do you want to go? Where would you like for me to go? And would you go with me? Those kinds of questions will get her curious about that.
Okay.
And I'll tell you something else. There'll be an enormous benefit for you because, in fact, you have never had a better friend than your mom. And the closer to
Okay.
friendship you come to her, the more you'll love her.
Okay.
Getting a little teary-eyed now, but so relish that relationship with her. It's profound, and allow it to be at that profound level rather than escaping her authority. You help her to blend that authority into her own life so that it becomes satisfactory for her.
Okay.
You will gain great wealth by doing that. Great wealth of wisdom.
All right. Thanks for this. I didn't quite realize how much work there is to be done in this area, and I think
Actually, you don't have to think of it that way. That's so future past oriented.
Okay.
Think about, the next time I see mom, blah, blah. This
Okay.
is how it's going to go. I'm going to be very mindful. I'm going to take care of her. I'm going to be wealthy and generous to her. I'm going to let her have her feelings. I'm going to step right out of the way of the arrows that she's throwing at me. You ought to get out more. It's not about you at all. It's about her. She ought to get out more. That's what she's saying. I'm cold. Here's a coat. Moms regain their authority. Has she ever done that to you, by the way? Has she ever actually brought a coat to you because she was cold?
Yeah, she mostly does that, but yeah, since I'm not she did that a lot in my childhood, but now since
That's
I
what
just,
I'm talking
yeah,
about. All right, she just brought you a new coat to wear,
yeah.
and you rejected it. Because that's how she sees you, is back when you were a child. That's the whole point. And so she still is maintaining her authority by taking care of you. And the answer is, Mom, I don't want you to take care of me. Don't work. But thank you, Mom. Thank you for taking care of me. You merely have a lot of feelings about it for me. Where would you like to go? What kind of place would you like to go so that you can feel really good?
Okay.
She might want you to go to church, and then you're in trouble. But so far, she hasn't said, take me to church. So, is there anything else that we need to cover on this call, or have we finished it? This has been a short one.
Yeah,
But I feel we've come to a state of satisfaction with this.
yeah, no, I'm pretty okay. I just need to keep this in mind.
Yes, sati. Keep it in mind. Don't forget.
No, okay. What I was thinking about. Oh, all right. Just hope this doesn't go too long. But so when I'm in my sits, I wanted to ask you about something. I don't know how to tell it. Okay. Sometimes in my sits, so especially at the Zen dojo, sometimes if I sit longer, I just feel like if I don't have any distractions or something, I don't have to employ mindful the sati. Sometimes I feel my senses retracting. I feel even if I keep my eyes open, my vision kind of goes away, and sounds get dimmer. So I'm
Yes,
kind
that's actually a hindrance, and it would be called Possibly the English language word, the one that they've chosen, is sloth. We go into kind of a drowsy, dreamy state.
Yeah,
All right.
hypnagogic, I don't know.
Okay. The trick with that is to remember to take a few deep breaths to get out of that, to get the brain oxygenated, to wake it up. The second thing to do is to rub your limbs like this. It's okay in the dojo to rub your arms. You'd be surprised at how that wakes you up.
Okay.
Another one, and especially if it's chronic, washing the face with a wet cloth. That will also wake you up. But breathing, you don't have to go any place or do anything or make any movement. You just start taking a deep breath. And in fact, in that stupor, taking those deep breaths does take effort. And so you have to do it with right intention, to take a few deep breaths, get the breathing going, get back into the body, wake this machine up. Exactly. All right. And what you're talking about is very common. It's one of the standard hindrances, is that we do allow ourselves, because of not getting enough air, just sitting there, and we think that we're going into very deep states. And in fact, what we're doing is we're going into a shutdown. And that can be called deep. Where the information coming in through the senses is not vibrantly alive. Things get dull. That's another word for it, is that we get dull thinking with the dull senses, and that this is the time when the Zen master is going to take his stick to your shoulder. And that stick is saying, wakey, wakey. Sit up straight. Take a deep breath. Be here now. Let's do this stuff. Let's do this practice. Let's not be dreamy our way through it. We've got work to do. And the work is to stop working, because now we're so tired because we've been working too hard.
Yeah, the weird thing for me is that sometimes you can feel like you're concentrating, you have stable attention, and you have like a too narrow focus of concentration, and you're not feeling your body, and it feels like you're doing something right, but you're actually probably heading in the wrong direction, right? Okay.
Going into a dreamy state. And so the best thing to do is to get the mind completely vibrant. Then, in fact, if there is progression, if there is a need or a want or desire to go into the jhanas, the first one is to gain the state of satisfaction, the state of joy, the state of sukha, the state of success. That's the first jhana. And that we use the mind to guard what kind of thoughts come in. So if you can go into first jhana, then the next step would be to begin to guard the mind, to allow less and less in. And there's some techniques that we can do to bring the thinking part of the mind to a stop. But by doing that, we begin to really let the emotions run wild.
Okay.
Okay. And by running wild means that they're not increasing, but because we're not thinking so much, we're really doing a lot of investigation of feeling. And that would be the second jhana. All right. Which means there's even more experience, more jhana. And that, hang on a second. I've got a call coming in.
All right.
Hello, Toon. Oh, Tam. Okay. I'm on a call. Oh, on Skype, but I'm okay. Do you need something? Okay. I'll call you after this Skype call, okay? Okay, bye-bye. All right. So that was, by the way, that was the boss. That's that. By the way, that's an act of generosity. Is to let her be the boss. Give
Okay.
her the power. Don't argue with mom. So, back to where we were. What were we talking about?
I was talking about in the first jhana still having thinking and the
Yes,
thinking being gone in the second jhana.
right, right. So the point is that these stupor-like states should not be and cannot be mistaken for jhana
All right.
if you know what jhana actually is and the stages of going through the jhana, because those states are even more refined in the sense that the frontal cortex is even more active, taking over more power,
Okay.
and then eventually manage. Not only do we begin to manage the thought process, but then we begin to manage directly the feeling process. All right. So this is what jhana really is, and yet so many people think that going into a shutdown mode, where everything gets kind of dreamy like, is progress. No, it's not. That's not progress. And so make sure that when you get into a state like that, to remember to start taking deep breaths, knowing that no matter how obstructed the mind gets, no matter how tired or how dull it gets, nor how agitated that it gets, no matter what kind of desire it has, no matter how doubtful the mind is, you can clean that stuff out and come back to the present moment, feeling like a winner, feeling like a champion, feeling wealthy, feeling successful, feeling satisfied, feeling safe and secure. These are the feelings that are associated and the states of mind associated with first jhana. That's the state that you want to get into and then guard the mind to stay in. The Buddha calls it dukkha, dukkha nirodha. Recognize what it's like to be in a state of stupor and come out of it and be happy in the here now. Actually has his own brew. He has this saying, get happy, stay happy. And Goenka would say, never mind, start again.
All right.
And then there's a favorite, don't worry, be happy. But it's all the same thing. Can you get into the state of first jhana and then stay there? Get happy, stay happy. So that when your mom comes to talk about she wants you to do this and that and get out more, you need to get happy right then and stay happy while you're getting her happy.
All right. And I wanted to ask, so the distinction would be to make a clear distinction between this. So if I'm not feeling the piti and the sukha, it's probably not jhana, it's just the stupor. So,
Precisely.
Or would you have another distinction between like a warning sign for that?
Yes, that's exactly correct.
Okay.
And these are jhana factors to be gathered together. So we gather up the hindrances to throw them out. We gather up the success. We gather up the satisfaction. We gather up a strong mind that's fit for work so that we can apply it and sustain it. And those are the jhana factors. That's first jhana. The question is, how much joy is there? How much satisfaction? Because that's the big one. The more satisfied we are, the easier it is to see dissatisfaction coming on.
Mhm.
But with you, in this case with your mom, be on guard for that.
Mhm. Yeah, it's Four Noble Truth practice with my mom all the time. That's what I should.
Exactly so. Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so let's finish now and call again soon. We'll continue right on with this. This is giving you something to work with.
Yeah,
But
this
you
was
can actually, this whole concept, you can apply to everyone, not just your mom, but
Yeah.
especially with her.
Mhm.
Okay, Catalin, we'll see you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'll see you soon. Bye
Okay,
bye.
bye-bye.